everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ask Anything presented by Moser Consulting. I'm your host, Angel Leon, Moser's Director of Personnel. We're happy that you could join us for this episode of Ask Anything because today we're talking with another one of our own, Kevin Guinn, a senior consultant within our core technologies division. Kevin is joining us to talk about Microsoft Copilot. Kevin Guinn is a senior consultant in Moser Consulting's core technologies division. And ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your floppy disk and dial-up modems because Kevin has been surfing the digital wave since the days of the Oregon Trail. And no, we're not talking about the one with the wagons and dysentery. With 20 years clocked in on the tech professional scene and a whopping 36 years as a tech enthusiast, we're talking Macintosh, not Mac. Get it right, folks. He's a go-to guru when your gadgets go haywire. Let's please give a warm welcome to the one, the only, Mr. Duct Tape, Kevin Guinn. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing great, Angel. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I really, I gotta say, that took me more than one take, so I guess I couldn't stop laughing. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. That was really good.
Well, yeah, I was trying to tap into how long I've been an enthusiast of technology. As far as my creds, I used to earn Oregon Trail game time in second grade. So that was the reward. If you were a good student, you got to play the Oregon Trail. So that's
Right.
how far back I go.
We're talking Microsoft Copilot today. So let me ask you, I mean, let's start with the basic. What is Microsoft Copilot?
There's so many things to answer, but we'll start with it's AI, so it's artificial intelligence. That's a buzzword nowadays for sure. To sum it up quickly, it is a version of Cortana and Microsoft Bing combined together. So if you had a Windows machine over the past few years, you were welcomed and introduced to Cortana. So you could ask Cortana anything and it would assist you. That is now evolved into Copilot. So think of Cortana on steroids. It is an AI powered chat provided by Microsoft that can help you in daily life, in your professional life. I know some people even use it for raising their kids.
I hope not.
Well, not so much raising their kids, but I've seen it in use by a grandparent when their grandchild had a cough or had a symptom. And normally, when instead of running out to WebMD and having to scroll
Right.
through a list of things, you
Yeah.
would just type in this and it would give you an human-like feeling of this is what it is.
And Cortana, of course, comes from the highly rated Halo games from Microsoft, from Xbox. So for those of you who are game fanatics, there's a little nugget. And for those of you who aren't, I'm sorry. All right. So
Sorry, we're not
how,
sorry.
yeah, take it for what you will. All right. So how is Copilot different than ChatGPT, who's basically, I don't want to say they're the champ in town, but they're basically the most known, the most widely known name out there because they're the ones that are in the news that people constantly talk about. So, how is it different than ChatGPT?
Well, interesting enough. So both Copilot and ChatGPT are AI products. And the thing about ChatGPT is it is the Xerox of our generation. So, well, maybe Xerox is the Xerox of my generation. Anyway,
Yeah.
when people used to talk about sending a fax, they'd say Xerox it. Go Xerox it. That was the terminology. Even copying, go Xerox it. So that was the brand, it
Yeah.
wasn't the function.
Right.
That is what ChatGPT is. ChatGPT is an AI powered chatbot that performs tasks and gives you human like responses so that you can interact with it and feel comfortable. The thing about it is, Copilot is a beefed up version of that uses the latest version of ChatGPT in the background. So where ChatGPT would be designed for chatbot applications like Xfinity, you would go out to Xfinity, the window pops up. Would you like to speak to so and so, or would you like to ask a question? You type in your question, it generates the response fairly quickly, and then you can select and keep gearing that conversation to get the answer that you need. Copilot is so much more robust than that, but it has that feature as well, but it can do so much more. It's based on what ChatGPT has started, but with Microsoft and their designers and engineers, they've taken it over to where it is so much more, where you can engage in a real-time conversation with a search engine that receives the AI generated responses to navigate and learn in a much faster methodology, I guess would be the best way.
Mhm, mhm.
And I guess let me mention right quick, everyone says chat GPT. The GPT is a generative pre-trained transformer. And you're like, what is that tech guru saying to me now? All that means is it's trained to answer questions. That's exactly what it means. It's been loaded with so much data that it can take your question and provide an answer that is fairly accurate. There's still some human touch needed to make it work appropriately, but yeah,
Right.
that's what that means.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I had never played around with Copilot. You and I were kind of slacking each other yesterday, just kind of going through what we were going to talk about today. And I went in it, and you're 100% correct. It's built off of the ChatGPT platform, but it can do so much more because it's not just text based. I mean, you've got options, if I remember correctly, to the right of your screen where basically you can tell it to, you talk about pictures and art and things of that nature. You can tell it, hey, I want to see a picture of a Babe Ruth holding a hot dog as a baseball bat. Things so it goes beyond just the text prompts. Obviously, you do your text prompting, and then it'll, if you just want text-based answer, you can do that. But then you can do images, you can do many other things within the platform itself. So uh, it's very good. I found it very, very good.
I would say it is one of the best that I've interacted with. And I'll give you an example of what you were saying. So, my father-in-law is heavily into genealogy. He has, over the past 10 years, have put so much time and effort into this genealogy. He was in town, we were talking, and he wanted to find out a way to get some information. And a Google search did not return what he was actually looking for to go to this. He's got a group that meets every Tuesday, right, on Zoom. So I showed him Copilot. I said, "Hey, Pop, take a look at this." And I was like, I gave him some prompts. Hey, ask it this, let it generate its response, and then build up on that response with another prompt or
Mhm.
question, or and keep directing it to get what you wanted. It was only 3 hours later. So he'd been exposed to Copilot for about 3 hours, and he had taken the little bit of prompts that I had done, created them and evolved them into what he was wanting, and had found out information about a historical graveyard in downtown Indianapolis, and how there's a bridge being built for the new soccer stadium that is going to go right over. And he had so much information, and then here's the interesting part. He had Copilot generate a presentation. So
Wow.
he took the information that was not just for him. He generated a presentation, and this is where it gets awesome for me. So my father-in-law is 70 years old. The people that he meets with are within his range, on a generation above and a generation below him. So that's a pretty good group of individuals.
Mhm.
Most
Yep.
of that would be categorized as not tech savvy. But what he was able to do is generate this presentation with voice. I know that gets a little, and then showed it to them, and they were blown away. They were able to easily receive the information that he shared. He was able to explain it, and it was just fascinating to see, because as he sits in my kitchen table in this Zoom call, he's sharing with 30 other people all this information, and to see their eyes light up on the, I'm standing in the back looking like just, blown away that that we're at a point in time when this is possible.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, and that actually leads me to my next question, which kind of touches on this because it's daily life. The example you just provided is something that, quite frankly, I wouldn't have thought about. So you obviously are a heavy user of Copilot. So you brought it up to your pop, to your father-in-law, and you basically 3 hours later, he's hooked. He's down the rabbit hole, and he's basically grabbing the rabbit by the ears, freaking it out.
Yeah, he's actually trailblazing. He was digging for the rabbit.
Yeah. So how could Copilot impact daily life in and out of the office?
Beyond what we just talked about. It's for the mom that needs to remember grocery lists. So you can do value shopping. And as AI, as Copilot learns your behaviors, it will start generating responses based on how you interact with it. And what I mean by that is if you only shop at Amazon and Walmart, and you only get your grocery items at, fresh fruits, that kind of stuff from Walmart, but you get all your detergents and all that from Amazon, when you go into Copilot and say, create my grocery list, it will separate the two and give you an Amazon list and give you a Walmart list.
Wow.
But it doesn't stop there. If there is something that you are repeatedly buying, whether it be dish detergent for a dishwashing machine or whatever, toilet paper, whatever it is that you're constantly buying, you can prompt Copilot to not only create that list, but also search across the board for a better value. And so it will go out and tell you, oh, well, in this case, a bulk of toilet paper is actually cheaper at Target. Would you like to purchase it from there? Or it's actually, so it's doing a lot of stuff that I've grown up seeing my parents clip coupons.
Right.
So it is actually digitally clipping coupons, like finding the best deal, finding out how you can bring value, or save money, which everyone nowadays wants to get the most bang for their buck, right?
Mhm.
So this tool that is offered up via Microsoft is actually enabling people to save money. It's improving relationships. Here's what I mean by that. If you are taking your spouse out on a date, you can go in there and say, "Hey, Copilot, tell me the best 5-star rated restaurants or high-star rated restaurants with the best reviews that offer this type of food," and then enter whether it be, steak dinner, cheeseburger, pizza, whatever it is, that has available reservations during this time, and search within 5 miles of my address. And it will go out and according to what you prompted it, it will tell you exactly what you want and list them by rating. And then if you don't like the results, you can say, "Thank you for that. Instead, list them by value, cheapest to most expensive." It'll
Mhm.
generate another one. Now, these are things that I've done on Google or Yelp, and had to go from different site to different site to get all the data that I needed in order, to go out like that. But here in Copilot, it pulls from so many data sources, puts it into an easy, comprehensible answer. And then you're like, oh, okay. So looks like, in my case, looks like I'm taking my wife over here to PF Chang's because they have this version of whatever she's wanting at this value, and they have availability. So for all of that to be done with just a few quick prompts into, it could be on your phone, it could be on your desktop. I think that's amazing. And
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say real quick, I was talking with somebody yesterday about prompting and how really I call it the AI revolution. This revolution can reshape the way we search for things,
mhm,
and not just searching like this. I mean, so we were talking about cruises. So the person was mentioning that they were trying to book a cruise. They were in a cruise and they were trying to book their next cruise. Well, the filtering on the website. So he was on the boat. He was working with somebody in the I don't remember what the desk is called, but let's call it the your next cruise desk. The filtering that he wanted was not available because obviously there's simple terms that they use. They don't really delve outside of that, and there's no prompting. There's no search prompt. But if you were to use something like this, where companies then adopt this type of prompting, you could tell the website, hey, I want a room with a balcony that has bunk beds that sits on the seventh floor of the cruise or the eighth floor where the nearest elevator is, where the nearest daycare for the kids is, etc. So then imagine if a cruise line had this type of system within their website, how quickly it will drum up the answer of, oh, sir, the room you're looking is cabin 8422. And bam, that's the cabin that I want because it has all the amenities that I'm really looking forward to. I want to be close to the elevator. I want to be close to the daycare center for my 3-year-old. And then I want to have a balcony room that has bunk beds so that my kids can stay in the bunk beds and my wife and I can sit below, things of that nature. But because they don't have that, they had to basically follow through the different simple prompts, or not prompts, just the filter that the cruise line had, and that's it. And then it made it harder because then they had to go floor by floor. Okay, well, in this ship, that was the other thing, is they wanted to go on a specific ship. And
Yep.
so, that's like your first start. Well, imagine if you're telling something like Copilot or ChatGPT, here's my prompt. This is what I want. How easy that would be for you to just come up with an answer and get, okay, this is the room that I want because it's the one that has all the amenities around that I'm really looking for.
That is just amazing because, as you're talking, I'm thinking of future trips and how would I be able to prompt to find the best deal that would offer for my
Right.
kids and value. So, search the cruise lines for exactly the amenities you were talking about. And here is my budget. What's the closest thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not going to say within seconds because the more complex your prompt, your
Right.
question,
Right.
the longer it takes to research, obviously. But within moments, you have the in your hands what you need, and then you can go out and book it. Or if you have set, this is a feature of Copilot, if you set up your personal information and payment information, you can tell Copilot to go book that.
Yeah.
I know a
And
lot of people are not happy about that feature,
no,
but it is
no.
a feature that you can or cannot use.
Yeah. And listen, yeah, whatever you think about security and privacy concerns, those are all very valid thoughts. And I know Kevin and I share some of those with you, but the fact that you have a tool that can let you do that up to the point where basically it can purchase things for you, depending on the prompt that you give it, because you're basically telling it everything that you want and or like. And using cruising as an example, but to use your example about food, about restaurants, it's the same thing. If you want to find a restaurant that serves this type of meal, I don't know, something that I really like are calzones. I
Hmm.
love calzones. Like, there's only a handful of restaurants where I live that offer calzones. Not every Italian restaurant around us offers calzones. So this would be an opportunity for me to go to Copilot and say, okay, Copilot, I need you to find the restaurants that has the best calzone within a 5-mile radius, as you were mentioning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you get a list, and then you get to choose. Luckily, I already know which one I like, so I don't need it. But
But that's part of it as well. You can let Copilot know that is your favorite,
right.
and they'll suggest if they have deals first or
Mm-hmm.
whatever to you first, because like I said, that's part of the AI learning experience. One, you're learning how to talk to it, and they're learning how to listen to you. So
Right.
I guess I want to bring the Copilot is the newest shiny toy. But to really put it in perspective, we have been using AI in so many different ways
Oh yeah.
previously to Copilot, previously to Chat GPT. If you've got a Alexa in your house and you tell it to add something something to your shopping cart and go ahead and check out, that is no different than what Copilot will be doing as well.
Yeah.
So you talk to your phone all the time, navigate to the office, navigate to so and so's house, and it goes through your contacts, finds that address if it's saved, and automatically you're on your way. So this is just the newest and latest version of the shiny toy.
Yeah, no, we've been doing this for a while. I was telling the exact same thing to that person that we were talking about the cruising, is we've been doing this for a while. If you say, hey Google, or hey, the one that starts with an S, because I have my phone right next to me and all my products are Apple, so, or Macintosh. So I don't want to say it so she doesn't respond back to me. But you're right. Everything that we have around us right now has some form or function of AI. We just never been so in touch with everything that it comes with now that we see all these prompting, etc. It's a different world. And so we got to get used to using all these tools in a different way. And I think Copilot and ChatGPT and many others just bring that into the forefront, and people should probably take advantage of it a whole lot right now. But let me ask you now about your job, because I figure that Copilot should make your job a little bit easier. So, how does it make your job as an IT guy easier?
There's various ways, and I guess the the number one for me, which is also going to be the funniest in IT in general, IT people in general have a history of being non-people persons, right? So they have all this data of knowledge stored in their heads. They know how to do it, but getting that to come out their mouth in a way that is easily received by the customer has
It's
often
hard.
been a challenge.
It's hard.
Here
Yeah.
lately, we've kind of more been geared towards customer service, but there are plenty of jokes, stereotypes, and memes about the rude IT guy that can fix anything. He just can't tell you how he did it or communicate any other way. So I'll use that as an example. With Copilot, you can take your knowledge, give a prompt in Copilot to say, hey, here's what I did. Explain this to a non-tech savvy individual using, and you can determine your level, and they will craft a message that you can send either through the ticketing system or an email or a direct message that they are able to understand. And so breaking the barriers, that communication barrier, is the number one, because that would build a relationship then, right? So we're providing customer service. It improves our customer service from the tech side, as opposed to I fixed it. Well, no one's going to receive that. There's a very few people, I'll say very few people that's going to receive I fixed it as the solution. They're kind of want to know what you kind of did. And so this helps that
Yeah.
barrier, right?
Because everybody loves 3-word answers. That's
Even when we're in person, we love 3-word answers,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I fixed it. There you go.
I fixed it. But besides that, the other more complicated issues, you can now prompt. For example, if you needed to write a script that you ran on a server that updated someone's signature, you can now prompt Copilot or any of the other AI tools. But since Microsoft created this and they're going to implement it and have it in Microsoft 365. So this is going to cause you to be able to run charts and lookups in Excel spreadsheets and make them look amazing, right? For presentations to customers about, hey, this is the data we're
Yeah.
seeing. You're going to be able to format and correct where we might have erred out on a Word document, and it's going to look pristine for presentations for the CEO that you're talking to. It's going to really be a centralized location of knowledge. Okay, I'm having this issue, and show me all the ways that this such and such could have failed. And as it lists through the items, it's going to give us an option to run each troubleshooting step, as opposed to sitting on the phone going, well, we could try this. So we might know that, but in the moment, we just can't pull it up. So we're tapping into that and allowing us to really serve the customer better is where we're going to shine. So getting our knowledge, using the prompt, conveying that to the customer is one of the areas that we going to shine for sure. But it goes beyond that. Even with other teammates, and when we have meetings, we can generate creative ideas for our strategic approach, because I might not know all the strategic approaches of how to implement something, but it's been done before, and able to get that so I can better understand it, so that when I go into the meeting well informed, so that I go into the conversation well informed, is how I think the team at Moser, as well as other places, will be able to fully utilize Copilot and other AIs.
Well, and it helps with efficiency too, obviously, because you brought up a couple of examples with the Word document and earlier with the presentation for your father-in-law. I mean, I can't wait to put that to good use, just to give it information so that it can create a presentation for us and just see how it does. Because honestly, even if it's not the end product that I finish using, it gives me a baseline. It gives me something to build upon. And that in and of itself, when you think about it, how hard it is to start writing something, or start a presentation, or start a Excel spreadsheet. I mean, I'm no Excel guru. I know enough to be dangerous, but this would help me. Yeah, this would help me start off, immensely quicker. And instead of just, okay, here's my data, let me dump it in there. And now I got to do this setting and do X, Y, Z and all that stuff. And that's what I really look forward to, is just the differences in how I can start up a small project and it can just give me probably what would take me 2 hours to do. It could probably do it in less than 5 minutes, and I can have a halfway decent product that then I can just build upon. So that to me is one of the things that I look forward to with products like these, that really will make my job a whole lot more efficient, and that will allow me to concentrate on other things rather than, hey, a presentation or an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, or a document that I need to start writing up. Well, here's this 2-page document that I created for you, sir. Why don't you review it and go on and so forth? So that just, to me, it just screams of efficiency and of ways to make jobs a lot better. And so these are some of the positives. But before we go, and I know we've talked a lot about this, but how can someone get their hands on Copilot? Because I don't think we know who makes it, obviously, Microsoft, but how
Right.
can somebody get their hands on it?
Well, getting a hold of Copilot is fairly easy. So right now they are offering it for free. Of course, it's a new toy, so they're going to give you reach as many hands as possible, let as many
Right.
people mess with it. So either via the Microsoft Edge, on down the sidebar, you have availability to get it there. Inside of Windows 11, you can get it in there as a more of an app. Let's see. Eventually, if you feel comfortable and you think that it's really improving your life, there is a current pro option that is available for $20 a month that gives you even more features than what the free version offers. It's going to be integrated into Microsoft 365 in the near future. So anybody that has an enterprise license will have access to that. I'm wanting to say there's probably an app out there as well. I haven't confirmed that yet. I could look quickly, but just like every other AI that has been released, an app so that you can speak directly to it, where you don't even have to type the prompt. You just hit the mic and start speaking.
Right. Yeah. And I know the website is up. That's where I went yesterday. I used it. So Copilot, that's where I did some of my testing yesterday. But I really can't wait for the integration with Office 365. I think that's going to be amazing for, as you mentioned, all the groups of, really, I mean, every workplace that we know has Office 365 enterprise license. So when that gets integrated into that, oof, I can't wait. So Kevin, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today on Ask Anything. Thank you very much for joining us.
The pleasure was all mine, Angel. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you for listening in to this week's edition of Ask Anything presented by Moser Consulting. We hope you enjoyed listening to Kevin Guinn talk to us about Microsoft Copilot. Join us next time when we continue to dive deeper with our resident experts on what they're currently working on. Remember to send us your ideas or topics via social media feeds. In the meantime, please remember to give us a rating and subscribe to our feed wherever you get podcasts. Until then, so long, everybody.
Go.